particular type of ritual that's also very common is rites of passage. And these are rituals that mark specific periods of transition within a particular religion or society. These would be things, usually they mark birth, puberty, conversion, mating, marriage, and death. Big change periods in our life, our identity. This would include things like baptisms, bar mitzvahs, marriages, confirmations, burials, any kind of adulthood rites. And we will frequently run into rites of passage. And these are just periods where it's kind of a special recognition of passage. Even something like how our Hispanic immigrants have brought the idea of the quinceañera, the 15th birthday that marks a girl's transition into womanhood. It's very much a rite of passage, even if it's cultural more than religious. And lastly, we will see that there is the common use of sacred space. And this is an area that is set aside as particularly in touch or imbued or important to the sacred. It's a particularly sacred space, very self-defining. Now we think of this, churches or mosques, or those are sacred spaces. And they are. But any sort of sacred area, it could be an area where something very powerful happened. Many Native Americans treat, for example, Wounded Knee as a kind of sacred space, a holy place, but not in a good sense, more in a haunted sense, where there was a massacre of Native people. To them, it's sort of symbolic for the atrocities committed against their people. This would also apply to something like graveyards. Battle sites. Even in the most secular societies, you hear places like Normandy. You see the battle sites, but what's also right there on the battle site? Well, thousands and thousands of graves are there. So it's a graveyard battle site. But we often hear battle sites referred to as hallowed ground, right? Abraham Lincoln said that in the Gettysburg Address, right? This hallowed ground. Any kind of historical markers, any place where great or important or terrible things have happened, often come to be seen as sacred space, as somehow more in touch with or more in tune with the sacred, the ultimate realities or ultimate truths than our daily lives. The last thing we want to look at are the two perspectives on studying religion. Religion is a little different than other topics in that we have to remember that people still believe and practice most of the religions we'll be looking at. Even if they don't, people at the time believed and practiced religions that may now be dead. So there's always two aspects to studying, or perspectives to studying religion. The first is the outside study, and we'll do a lot of this. It's kind of the academic study. The idea is to remove yourself from the religion itself, from any claims of truth or falsehood or values, and just to describe what you see. What do they do? When do they do it? What is their supposed purpose for that? It's more quantitative and verifiable, and this makes a lot of people feel like the outside study of religion is the only relevant thing to look at. It's what we can see, it's what we can write about. And so it is the more academic and will take up the majority of our course just because it lends itself more to an academic study. But there's always the inside study. This is the personal, let's say this is the religion according to the practitioner, or according to a very sympathetic person that is actively involved with a religion or a religious community. And this is subjective and participatory, and to do it well we have to strive for empathy. In other words, academically or the outside study, we're supposed to, even if it is our own faith, we should take a step back and try to be objective in our descriptions and evaluations of that religious tradition. The inside study says, even if it is not our own faith, we should try to put ourselves into the reality of the practitioner and try to feel along with them, try to sense and empathize with what they get out of it and what they are seeing or what they are experiencing in their own practice, in their own faith life, basically. And this is more qualitative and unrepeatable. In other words, you can't necessarily bring back a feeling or an experience or an extremely powerful moment. It's just something that can be communicated and hopefully empathized with. Yeah. Okay, that's all for Unit 1. Please look over the notes and continue on with your study.